How's
And
that?
how's that?
Good
Good
evening to
evening
all
to
of you,
all
and
of
a
you, and a
special
special
welcome
welcome
to
to
our
our
sisters
sisters
this
this
evening.
evening.
We are
We are
here
here
for the
for the
second
second
annual
annual
Sisters
Sisters
Anti-Trafficking
Anti-Trafficking
Awards
Awards
2024.
2024.
The
The
first
first
awards, the
awards, the
inaugural
inaugural
awards, were
awards were
held in
held in
London
London
last
last
year.
year.
My name is
My name is
Delia
Delia
Gallagher. I am
Gallagher.
a
I am a
journalist
journalist
here
here
at the
at the
Vatican,
Vatican,
and I am
and I am
delighted
delighted
to
to
be your
be your
host
host
this
this
evening.
evening.
We are
We
here
are
to
here
talk
to talk
tonight about
tonight about
modern
modern
slavery,
slavery,
about
about
anti-trafficking
anti-trafficking
measures, and of
measures, and
course
of
the
course the
important
important
work
work
that
that
sisters
sisters
worldwide
worldwide
do
do
to
to
help
help
vulnerable
vulnerable
communities.
communities.
And you know,
And
one
you
of
know,
the
one of the
great
great
privileges
privileges
of
of
my
my
job is
job
that I
is
get
that I
to
get to
travel the
travel the
world
world
with Pope
with Pope
Francis.
Francis.
And
And
anywhere we
anywhere we
go,
go
in any
in any
country,
country on all
continents,
continents,
we of
we of
course
course
are able
are
to
able to
witness
witness
firsthand
firsthand
the
the
important
important
work
work
that
that
sisters
sisters
do
do
for
for
vulnerable
vulnerable
communities. And I
communities. And I
remember
remember
just
just
last
last
year
year
in
in
South
South
Sudan, we
Sudan,
were in
we were in
Juba.
Juba.
We were at the
We were at the
Cathedral
Cathedral
of
of
St.
St.
Therese,
Therese, which is the main cathedral there in
Juba,
Juba, waiting with thousands of others outside the cathedral for the Pope to arrive.
And I just
And I
started
just started
talking to a
talking to a
sister
sister
next to
next to
me,
me,
and she
and she
shared with
shared
me
with
that
me that
she
she
was one of
was
the
one of the
sisters
sisters
on a
on a
bus
bus
in
in
2021
2021
that was
that was ambushed by armed men. Some of you may have heard of that story. There were 7 sisters on the bus, and 2 of her sisters were killed, Sisters of the Sacred Heart. And that brought home to me just how dangerous a lot of the sisters work on the front lines. When we say front lines, what do we really mean? We mean those dangerous, difficult, unstable situations, and they don't have to just be in conflict regions like South Sudan. I know you all are quite aware of that. So we are here tonight to talk about these issues, to recognize our sisters. We know that global trafficking, unfortunately, is on the rise. And this is due to conflict, to the pandemic, to the climate disruption, but we also know that sisters are there to help get children into school, to help with formation, to start programs for survivors, and particularly also to advocate for legislation, which is very important. So despite the large numbers of sisters that are working around the world, however, you don't receive the recognition and the resources that you need. And that is the reason why our hosts this evening, who are Arise, an anti-slavery charity, the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation, and the International Union of Superiors General, are offering these awards tonight to increase the awareness of what sisters are doing around the world. And I'm happy that there are journalists here as well who will be reporting on this event. There is also an important need for collaboration between nonprofits, between other organizations that are working in the anti-trafficking space and modern slavery space with the religious congregations. That is another purpose, of course, of bringing these awards to people's attention and ultimately to help deepen the protections for the vulnerable communities. So the awards tonight are going to be multifaceted. We have a number of speakers first, and let me remind you, in case any of you need it, we have the translation, simultaneous translation on your headphones. I can tell you the channels, or we can maybe put up one of the, there you go. So you can see whatever language you might need to better understand this evening. I'll give you a little overview of the program. We will first have welcome address from Sister Mary Barron, who is the president of the International Union of Superiors General. We will then have our keynote address from Sister Natalie Beckhart. Sister Natalie is the Undersecretary for the General Secretariat for the Synod of Bishops here at the Vatican. We are delighted to be able to have her as our keynote speaker. After that, we will have testimonies from 3 people who are involved in anti-trafficking and modern slavery and the fight against that. They are Mary Mugo from Kenya, Talitha Kum, Youth Ambassador from Kenya, Nazrin Sheik, also here with us. Very happy to see you, Nazrin. Nazrin is a survivor and an advocate from Nepal. And we also have Kevin Hyland here. Kevin is formerly the UK's independent anti-slavery commissioner. He is now the chairman of Arise Foundation. We will hear from them shortly, and then we will have our awards. So without further ado, would you all please help me to welcome Sister Mary Barron to the stage?
Thank you, Delia. Honorable ambassadors, esteemed church leaders, distinguished guests, it's with great joy and a deep sense of privilege that the International Union of Superiors General welcomes you to this prestigious gathering where we celebrate the remarkable contributions of Catholic sisters in the fight against human trafficking. It is our privilege as UISG to host this year. Last year we were in London and Arise hosted. And as Delia has said, these awards are in their infancy. It's only the second year. And last year, in fact, it was October. So much earlier this year. We are celebrating in May. And we wanted to do that to coincide with the second General Assembly of Talitha Cum, which we have just completed in Sacrofano, and also to coincide with the 15th anniversary of Talitha Cum. For those of you who don't know Talitha Cum, but I imagine nobody in this room is unfamiliar with Talitha Cum, it is the sister-led initiative to eradicate human trafficking. It is a network of networks around the world. And since Saturday last, Talitha Cum representatives from across the globe have been gathered in Sacrofano, and I'm very pleased to say that they are here in this room, from 71 countries. They shared their experiences, listened to different testimonies, and together crafted a way forward for the next 5 years. The SATAs are a wonderful culmination of the work of this assembly. It's a great way to end the week. Because as we celebrate the remarkable achievements and the spirit of excellence that our award recipients embody, the three recipients represent all those dedicated people who work together in grassroots networks to fight against this modern slavery that is human trafficking. The presence of our distinguished guests, ambassadors from various countries, revered dignitaries of from the church, leaders and representatives of many organizations, this brings a profound richness to our gathering. Your commitment to fostering dialogue and understanding across borders and beliefs aligns with the very essence of the SATA Awards, to honor those who transcend boundaries for the greater good. We are inspired by your leadership and guided by your wisdom, and grateful for the support that you extend to our community. May tonight's celebration be a reflection of the harmony and hope that we aspire to cultivate in the world. On behalf of the UISG, and there are many staff and board members here, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all and express our sincerest appreciation for your participation. May this event be an occasion of joy, inspiration, and enduring partnerships in the struggle to end all forms of modern slavery. Thank you.
We'll move right into a chance to hear from our panelists right now. We'll have first Mary Mugo. Mary, would you like to come up to the stage? Mary describes herself as a passionate Talitha Kum youth ambassador from Kenya and human rights defender. She is the founder of Sima Nami organization, which means talk to me. And the organization is dedicated to addressing human trafficking, gender-based violence, mental health. Come, welcome.
Good evening and thank you. I'm so honored and privileged to be here. I don't take it for granted, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And all protocols observed. My name is Mary, Talitha Kum Youth Ambassador from Kenya. I stand before you today, not just as a speaker, but a messenger of hope, a fighter for justice, and a voice for the voiceless. My journey into the heart of the darkness that is human trafficking began not with a grand ambition or lofty goals, but with simple yet profound realization that the world we live in is not always just, and that the most vulnerable among us often suffer in silence. It was this realization that lit a fire within me, a fire fueled by empathy, ignited by outrage, and fueled by unwavering belief in the inherent dignity and worthy of every human being. And it was this fire that led me to Talitha Kum, a beacon of hope in the fight against human trafficking and modern day slavery. Through Talitha Kum, I received the things, the knowledge, and the tools to become a catalyst for change, to stand up and speak against the atrocities being committed against the most vulnerable members of our society. But more than that, Talitha Kum gave me something far more valuable, a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, and a sense of solidarity with those who have been victimized by trafficking. Armed with this new profound sense of purpose, I returned back home with a mission to turn my outrage into action, to shine a light into the darkest corners of society, and to offer a glimmer of hope to those who have been robbed of their freedom and their dignity. And so, Sima Nami was born, a youth-led organization based in Kenya, dedicated to combating human trafficking, providing support to survivors. Named after a Swahili phrase, meaning speak with me, Sima Nami is more than just an organization. It is a lifeline for those who have been silenced by exploitation and abuse. It is a living proof of the great work Talitha Kum International is doing in the world. And through this, I have had a privilege of interacting with survivors, brave men, women, and children whose stories have left an indelible mark on my soul. I've heard tales of unimaginable suffering and unspeakable horrors. But I have also witnessed incredible resilience, strength, and courage in the faces of adversity. These survivors are not just statistics. They are mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. They are human beings with hopes, dreams, and aspiration. And it is their stories that fuel my passion, that drive my determination, and that remind me of the urgency of our mission. But our work is far from over. Human trafficking continues to devastate communities around the world, tearing families apart, destroying lives, and robbing individuals of their freedom and their dignity. That is why it is very imperative that we engage the next generation in this crucial battle. The youths. The youths of today are not just leaders of tomorrow. They are the change makers of today. With their passion, their energy, and their idealism, they possess the power to drive meaningful progress in the fight against human trafficking. But to engage the youths, we must meet them where they are. We must harness the power of social media, technology, and popular cultures to raise awareness, spark a conversation, and mobilize action. We must provide young people with the knowledge, the skills, and the resources they need to become advocates of change in their communities and beyond. And we must empower them to use their voices, their talent, and their creativity to change the status quo, to break down the barriers, and to build a future where every individual is free to live with dignity, equality, and just. As a Taritha Kum Youth Ambassador and a founder of Semanami, I am committed to continue this work, as well as my fellow youth ambassador present today, to advocate for the rights of survivors, raise awareness about the realities of human trafficking, and to inspire others to join the fight for justice. But we cannot do it alone. We need your help. We need your support. We need your solidarity. Together, we can create a world where human trafficking and modern-day slavery is nothing but a distant memory. A world where survivors have a reason to smile again, and where traffickers are brought to justice. We must stop this notion that you can order for a girl or a woman faster than you can order pizza. So let us stand together, united in our resolve, and let us be the change that we wish to see in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for that testimony. I'd now like to welcome Nazrin Sheik, She is a survivor of modern slavery and a visionary leader committed to ending modern slavery through survivor-led initiatives. She has a profound and moving journey, which I myself heard as a TED Talk, and you can all listen to that if you haven't already. She's the founder of the Empowerment Collective, dedicated to ending modern slavery, and Local Women's Handicrafts, a women's business venture in Nepal. Please let us welcome Nazrin.
Namaste. I'm only here today because of several continuous miracles that occurred along my life path. A path that led me to this very moment with all of you. These miracles arrived as my unending childish curiosity to see what was beyond my own limitations. They arrived in friends who taught me the sovereignty of human life. They arrived in moments of sacred voices that told me to run or to reach out and grab the hand of a stranger to ask for help. But mostly they came in the courage to speak out about what I experienced and what I saw with these two own eyes. I saw a psychological and physical abuse. I saw torture. I saw suicide. I saw the forced marriage of children. I saw rape. I saw women set themselves on fire. I saw murder. I saw a generational tradition of breeding some of the most poor and vulnerable souls on the earth, like livestock or undocumented labor forces, uneducated, untouchable people who are treated as a disposable labor. Modern slavery has taken my family from me, my community, my people. It took my father when his mind broke from the psychological stress, working for predatory labor agents as a welder. It took my mother in the shaming she received when I ran from my culture. It took my older sister when she was arranged for marriage at the age of 12 years old. And that is not just my story, it is the story of 22 million girls in forced marriage today, experiencing daily every moment. And there are at least 28 million men, women, and children in forced labor right now. I have been given the chance to speak out when many chose to not speak up. My message is a single grain of sand trying to become a pearl of hope for over 50 million people suffering in modern slavery right now. Currently, our world is experiencing countless wars and conflicts that claim thousands and thousands of lives. Greater darkness dwells in the depths of our own soul, an epidemic of apathy, As these 50 million people trapped in modern slavery experience gross human rights abuses, poisoning, torture, deprivation, injuries, and death. The story of survivors like myself who are forward to unveil a collective tragedy of unconscious genocide and ecocide embedded in our global economic system, through our supply chains, and an unseen virus disproportionately targeting less developed countries and exploiting the most poor and vulnerable. Modern slavery is a universal pain, touching every caste, every religion, schools, government, villages, communities, and family, the entire world. This is because we are not just consuming the Earth's resources into a climate crisis, we are also simultaneously consuming each other into a extinction. My testimony, my story, my life as a survivor, these words that I'm speaking to you now, they had a very little chance of escaping the defiling silence of modern slavery and finding this in this room today. But here we are together, survivors and global leaders, faith, hope, working together, embracing inclusion and diversity into a horizon of solution, and that is a true miracle. The survivors have a vision, a solution, a table for everyone, a shining future for all of humanity, a kingdom of light where we cherish the most precious collective resources to humanity, our next generation, our children, allowing us to seize the opportunity to redistribute our greatest societal wealth collectively, our love for these children and the generation to inherit this earth from us. Let us ensure that in our future, every child on earth is given human rights to unleash the chains of restricting their potential to emerge as a little mythos for the next chapter of humankind's story, a story founded on transparency, empathy, humility, and a united love for the earth and all its precious resources. How we can rebuild broken trust, especially with a younger generation, to ensure continued connection. I encourage all people to see the issue of modern slavery for what it is, a global virus of unconscious consumption embedded into our supply chains and feed off our economic system. Humanity must find a way to a future where the end of modern slavery is celebrated as a true accomplishment of a united humanity through a global economic system of supply chain transparency. It is the only way for everyone to truly open their eyes and see. Father, forgive them for their Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Luke 23, 34. I would like to ask for a global prayer of forgiveness for all of humanity. Forgive us for not seeing how we harm one another. Forgive us for how we harm the earth. Forgive us for how we have harmed our children.
Thank you, Nazrin, and thank you, Mary. I know that these are difficult personal stories of trauma that you recount to us, and we deeply, deeply appreciate you sharing them with us today. Thank you very much. I'm now pleased to invite Kevin Hyland to the stage. Kevin is the UK's first independent anti-slavery commissioner. He was the first independent anti-slavery commissioner, member of the Santa Marta Group, and chair of Arise Foundation's trustees. He has dedicated his life on the front lines, first as a police officer, then as anti-slavery commissioner, and now advocating to end human trafficking and modern-day slavery. Please welcome Kevin Hyland.
Sisters and guests here, can I first start off by thanking Nazrin for your wonderful sharing of what is clearly a very difficult situation. If we ever needed reminding of what needs to be done and why we do it, we heard tonight. So thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here and an honor to be here with you at these awards. In one sense, it's a shame that this issue exists anywhere on our planet. But when we look at this problem that we face, and my experience, whether as a police officer, as the anti-slavery commissioner, as a representative of the Council of Europe, and many other issues that I've dealt with over the years, the front line is most definitely being filled and responded to by religious sisters, not just in a small way, but in a major way. And if we look at commitments around the world that we hear that are being made by this government, that government, or others, the quietness of the religious sisters collectively is committing more than any or even collective government. So for that, you should be very proud. And it's not something that you've just started in the last year or two. It's not something that you've started because it's fashionable. Many of you and many of your orders have been doing this for decades and even centuries. So recognizing the work that you do here is in only a small way of returning the thanks that you deserve. But I want to talk about some of my experiences of working with religious sisters in the roles that I have done. And of course, in Arise, working in India, Albania, Nigeria, and the Philippines, we see lives changed, girls given education, families rescued, people's first opportunity to get a job, people whose dignity is restructured. And it's not these awards, it's done because that's what you religious sisters and those working on the front line in Arise believe has to be done. It's what you wake up every day to do. But I've seen it firsthand. And when I see it firsthand, I very often, after a week or two, wherever I am, get on an aeroplane and return to my lovely family and my lovely surroundings in my home in Ireland. And I often think the sisters and the people in these environments are still there. And we need to support them and help them. But my time with the sisters started really back in 2010, when we were planning for the Olympics in London. What were we going to do? Trafficking was going to increase. Women who were working in prostitution on London streets were going to be an eyesore. And people were saying, we can't let London be an eyesore. But working with the Mercy Sisters, and then bringing in our National Health Service and others who wanted to work with religious sisters, we came up with a plan of giving dignity and creating ways that women who were vulnerable during those times, the Games and the Paralympics and the aftermath, to be given support as opposed to the revolving custody suite of a police station and the court. That model worked well, and it proved to me and proved to others what dignity looks like. But then I've also met girls from Eritrea who have been looked after religious sisters when they've traveled through the Lake Chad Basin and ended up in Libya and been raped and sold day after day because of the fear of what they're going to face in their own country, bought and sold and bought and sold until a fund can be found to put them on a dangerous vessel to arrive here in Italy. The only people who really looked after them were religious sisters. Or the adoratrices who helped me with many investigations in London and India, particularly in Hyderabad, to make sure that those who were trafficking and abusing girls and women and boys face justice. But just to show you how effective sisters are, I was heading a trial that was at the Central Criminal Court, which those who are in the UK or may know as the Old Bailey, a major trafficking gang from Nigeria. And we were absent a witness. We couldn't find the witness, a crucial witness. So I could do what's called a request through the government process in the UK and then into Nigeria. That would take 6 to 9 months. Well, the judge had given me 24 hours to find this witness. And I'd met many sisters from Nigeria. And one phone call to one sister in Benin City said, "I'll do my best, Kevin." 6 hours later, she found this witness. And I was able to return to court next day and say, that witness will be on a plane this afternoon. We sort out the visas and we'll be able to give evidence. Which resulted in the defendants changing their plea because they knew the case against them would get worse. They pleaded guilty. I thought, if I'd done that through the official channels, the case would have collapsed. The victim would have suffered again. No compensation. The perpetrator would have got away with it. And to me, that was the real proof that sisters aren't just there doing one part of this. They're doing every part. They're assisting in prosecutions, the other side of the world that they've never been to. When I asked the sister, how did you find that woman? She said, well, we spoke to a few relatives and then we drove 3 hours to a church where we knew this woman might be sleeping on the steps and we found her. And I thought, if I'd had a team of 100 detectives on this, they couldn't have achieved this. So I am indebted to religious sisters around the world for the work they have done. I think the work that you do at the front line is so important. And the other thing to remember is that your work is consistent. Governments change. In the United Kingdom, since the introduction of the legislation, there's been 5 prime ministers and a similar amount of home secretaries. We've still got the same pope. Many of the sisters here have been doing this work for much, much longer than that. So what the church brings and what religious sisters bring is that deep understanding, that deep knowledge, but ultimately doing it because it's the right thing to do and it's about human dignity. And as we heard from Nazrin, who said it so well, it's about changing lives. But we must never forget that human trafficking, again, as Nazrin said, doesn't just affect the person, but it does affect families, communities, and in fact, whole nations. So thank you from me for what you're doing. I hope in my own way I can support much more of the work you do. Whenever I've travelled and I get to stay with religious sisters, I always come away feeling energized and having had lots to eat and lots of fun, really. But I do leave on a plane and go back somewhere very safe, whereas the sisters remain there. And I think we should never forget that. And I'm wholeheartedly delighted and honoured to be able to be part of this event tonight and to really see people who deserve these awards to receive them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for all of your work. We have now come to the moment for our keynote address. I am pleased to introduce Sister Natalie Beckhart. Sister Natalie is the Undersecretary for the General Secretariat for the Synod of Bishops. She is the first woman to hold that role. She was appointed by Pope Francis in 2021. Would you join me, please, in welcoming Sister Natalie Beckhart?
Good evening, buonasera, bonsoir. I was asked to speak in French. On m'a demandé de parler français, donc je vais parler français. Peut-être certains auront besoin de la traduction. Chers frères et sœurs en Christ, vous tous qui êtes ici, d'abord et avant tout, j'aimerais vous remercier et remercier Talitha Koum de m'avoir invité à continuer cette marche avec vous et à vivre cet important événement. Je voudrais remercier aussi tous ceux qui contribuent à ce réseau Talitha Koum, ceux et celles qui nous suivent en ligne. Votre engagement nous engage. Votre engagement contre cette blessure profonde de l'humanité que constitue la traite des personnes nous invite peut-être avant tout à accueillir dans le silence les cris et les souffrances de ceux qui traversent cette situation. Mais nous sommes là aussi pour voir toutes ces petites lumières de ceux et celles, en particulier les religieuses, qui face à ce drame ne baissent pas les bras, mais s'engagent pour combattre cette traite. Et je voudrais particulièrement féliciter mes sœurs religieuses qui vont être reconnues, récompensées ce soir, et à travers elles, qui sont pour nous des témoins qui nous inspirent, qui nous encouragent à aller de l'avant. Et cet engagement nous engage en nous invitant, comme peut-être tous ceux qui étaient rassemblés ces derniers jours pour l'Assemblée générale de Talitha Koum, qui ont eu l'expérience en ce temps de Pentecôte d'accueillir, je cite votre déclaration, l'Esprit Saint qui nous encourage à persévérer dans l'éradication de la traite des êtres humains afin de créer un avenir que tous aient la vie en abondance. Fin de citation. En venant ici ce soir, en continuant à écouter les témoignages de personnes victimes de la traite, je pense particulièrement à une jeune femme que nous avions écoutée au début du synode des jeunes. Si nous vivons aujourd'hui ce synode sur la synodalité pour une église synodale, communion, participation, mission, c'est parce que en 2018, quand il y a eu un synode sur les jeunes, la foi et le discernement vocationnel, a émergé comme fruit la synodalité comme manière d'être église aujourd'hui. Et je ne peux oublier que ce synode des jeunes et ce qui en est ressorti, qui nous pousse en avant aujourd'hui a été particulièrement marquée et nourrie par le pré-synode des jeunes. J'ai eu la chance de vivre ce pré-synode des jeunes en mars 2018, qui s'est ouvert par une rencontre avec le pape François, qui est venu rencontrer les 300 jeunes du monde entier qui ont vécu cette semaine de pré-synode. Et je ne sais pas si certains ou certaines s'en souviennent, la première question posée au pape François par un jeune, en l'occurrence une jeune, lors de cette ouverture du pré-synode, c'était Blessing Mougedion, nigériane, survivante de la traite. Et elle avait très fortement interpellé le pape François de cette manière, en expliquant son parcours dans lequel elle avait trouvé par la foi courage de dénoncer et de sortir de cet enfer. Et je cite, elle disait, « Dans une communauté de religieuses, j'ai trouvé ma résurrection ». Et elle avait adressé cette question au pape François. Comment pouvons-nous aider les jeunes à prendre conscience de ce crime contre l'humanité, comme vous l'avez appelé, vous, le pape François? Comment pouvons-nous les aider à rester humains, à contrer et à surmonter une mentalité malade qui réduit les femmes à des esclaves, à la propriété des hommes, à une marchandise, ou à un profit, ou à un plaisir égoïste? Et le pape, en lui répondant, avait souligné combien oui, c'est un crime qui vient d'une mentalité malade qui considère que la femme doit être exploitée. Et le pape disait, aujourd'hui encore, il n'y a pas de féminisme qui ait réussi à enlever cela de la conscience, de l'inconscient le plus profond ou de l'imaginaire collectif, disons. Oui, ce qui explique cette maladie de l'humanité, c'est une maladie d'une pensée sociale. Et cette cérémonie, ce soir des Awards contre le trafic humain, se tient à l'occasion de la deuxième assemblée générale de Talitha Koum. Et dans la dynamique du synode, il est un processus d'écoute. Je me suis préparée à venir vous rencontrer en écoutant, en lisant ce que vous avez vécu à travers la synthèse de votre chemin synodal et votre déclaration finale. Et ce qui m'a touchée, que je voudrais souligner maintenant, c'est certains points essentiels qui ont émergé au cours de votre assemblée comme des clés pour faire face à la réalité de la traite des personnes dans le monde d'aujourd'hui, sont en pleine résonance avec ce que l'Église est en train de vivre dans cette marche ensemble du synode. J'ai été frappée et touchée de voir combien cette marche ensemble que vous expérimentez à Talitha Koum et avec tous ceux, les partenaires, les collaborateurs, les compagnons de marche qui sont aussi ici ce soir, qui vous permettent de cheminer ensemble pour mettre fin à la traite des êtres humains en prenant le style de la compassion en action pour la transformation. Oui, tout cela résonne de manière forte avec la dynamique synodale qui est à l'œuvre actuellement dans l'Église. Je reçois donc l'honneur d'être avec vous ce soir en ce moment marquant pour votre réseau comme un cadeau, parce que depuis 15 ans, Talitha Koum porte de nombreux germes de synodalité et a ouvert des manières novatrices de vivre la mission en articulant notamment une manière de travailler en réseau qui combine le plus local, l'importance de l'action au niveau local, des dynamiques régionales et le global. Et ceci touche une des questions clés du synode actuel. que nous exprimons entre ces deux sessions de cette manière. Comment être une Église synodale en mission qui articule ces trois niveaux, l'Église locale, les regroupements régionaux d'Églises ou le niveau régional de la synodalité et le lien avec le niveau global romain. Votre histoire et votre projet mettent en lumière une belle manière de vivre l'unité dans et par la diversité, quelque chose que nous sommes tous en train d'apprendre à vivre mieux et à approfondir. Talita Koum a certainement beaucoup à partager avec l'Église d'une manière plus large. En même temps, votre invitation à partager ce temps ce soir avec vous est aussi l'occasion de mettre en lumière ce que je trouve dans les documents mentionnés précédemment, comme ce que vous avez identifié d'un appel à aller plus loin sur le chemin de la synodalité. En fait, la plupart des enjeux que vous mettez en avant dans la synthèse de votre chemin synodal résonnent avec des chapitres et des thématiques du rapport de synthèse du synode. J'en cite quelques-uns. L'écoute, le travail en réseau avec d'autres, le désir de marcher avec les survivants. Et vous savez combien ce synode a mis au centre depuis le début l'importance d'écouter les plus pauvres, les plus souffrants, les sans-voix, les victimes de toutes sortes d'abus. L'enjeu de rendre les femmes protagonistes, la place des jeunes, qui sont toujours moteurs de synodalité, mais aussi ce que vous soulignez de l'enjeu de prendre en compte l'impact du numérique, ce qui se déploie à la fois en positif, mais aussi beaucoup de manière négative. Ça correspond aussi à tout un chapitre et un enjeu de réflexion très fort actuellement. Comment vivre la mission de l'Église dans l'environnement numérique? Alors, j'ai reçu vos trois priorités en consonance avec ces trois mots-clés du synode: communion, participation, mission. Votre priorité numéro 1, d'affronter les changements systémiques face aux nouvelles vulnérabilités, c'est une manière de vivre la mission que vous mettez en premier. Vous démarrez par l'écoute des expériences du terrain. C'est vraiment le point de départ de la méthode synodale. Partager et les différentes réalités du terrain. Et vous avez d'ailleurs intégré la méthodologie du synode, la conversation dans l'esprit. J'espère que ce n'est pas seulement dans l'Assemblée générale, mais que ça pourra irriguer
the method
vos
of the synod. So
de
not
faire
only
à
in the
différents
assembly,
niveaux,
I hope and
pas
wish
seulement
that you can
pour
do
nous
it
dans
in other
l'Église, mais
ways.
aussi
So not only
pour
for us in
la
the church,
société.
but also for the society.
Je voudrais
I
aussi
would
souligner
like as
comment
well
dans
to
cette
highlight
priorité numéro
how
1,
much this
vous vous
priority
engagez à
number
donner aux
one,
femmes,
you
aux
engage
enfants et aux
yourselves
jeunes
to
les
give
moyens
women,
d'accéder à
young
des sociétés plus justes, plus
minors, to
équitables
give them more
et à
equal
aborder de manière toute faite ce
more
qui peut être
equal
proche de transformation
chances and
sociale,
how to
économique,
give them
culturelle,
fairness,
politique
to
pour
allow them a
démanteler tout ce
development
qui
at all levels,
contribue à
social,
la traite.
economic, in order to
Vous soulignez
eradicate
particulièrement cet
trafficking.
enjeu
You
d'écouter les
underline
victimes,
this issue of
partir du
this
cri et du
challenge of
visage des
listening
personnes
to
qui
the
souffrent de la
victims
traite. Ce que nous avons
in light
vécu
of
ce
the
soir
cries and the
nous
words
redit
of those who
l'importance de nous
suffer
laisser
from
toucher et d'entendre
trafficking, human trafficking. What we heard
en mettant
tonight
au
brings
centre
us back
nos
by
personnes.
putting people and in the center.
J'entends votre priorité numéro
I
2
see also
pour
and
une
hear your
approche
priority number
holistique
2
et
for a
centrée sur les
holistic approach
survivants,
centered on the
en grande
survivors,
consonance avec ce mot-clé du synode
with
qui est la
this
participation.
word in great consonance with the
Vous
word
dites
participation
dans
from the
un
synod.
des rapports des
You
pays,
say
celui de
in one
l'Albanie,
of the reports,
la
Albania,
première motivation du
you
travail de Talita
say that
Koum,
there are the
la joie et
first
l'espoir se
motivation of the
lisent
work of Talita Kum,
dans les yeux
the
de
hope
survivants
and the
reconstruisent
joy can
leur
be
vie.
seen in the eyes of the people who
Quand
are
nous
rebuilding their
marchons
lives.
avec
And
ces
when we
personnes,
move forward
nous
with these
comprenons toujours
individuals, with these
davantage
persons, we understand
comment ce grand don du
profoundly
mystère
how
pascal,
this
il nous dit
great
que la
gift of
vie
the
est toujours
Pascal
plus forte
mystery
que la
is
mort.
telling us
Et
how
tout le
much life is
processus
stronger than
synodal
death,
d'une
and
marche à
how the
l'écoute de
synodal
Christ,
process,
en marchant avec le Christ,
while
c'est un
listening to
processus qui nous
Christ,
fait
is a
entrer toujours
process
davantage
that
dans le mystère
takes us
pascal
deeper to the
pour
Pascal
renaître
mystery,
à la
to
vie.
have a rebirth.
Enfin, je souligne
In
cette
the end,
consonance de
I
votre
also
troisième
highlight
priorité,
this
élargir la
consonance
collaboration
of
et les
your third
partenariats
priority
avec
to
ce mot-clé de
enlarge
communion.
partnerships and
Et j'ai été
collaborations with the word
frappée
of
par ce que
communion.
vous mettez en
I
avant
was
de cet enjeu,
touched by
cette
what you put
conscience, comme vous
forward
dites, que
in
nous ne
this
sommes pas
challenge, this
seuls, et
awareness
que ce
that you're
travail ne
not
peut être
alone and
accompli
that
de
this
manière
work cannot be
isolée.
completed in an
Au sein de
isolated
Talita
way.
Kum, cela
In
signifie
Talita Kum,
diversifier
this
nos
means
membres
to
et multiplier nos
diversify
impacts. Talita Kum
impact and
existe aujourd'hui
efforts.
grâce à l'engagement
Talita
courageux et
Kum
durable des femmes
today, and
religieuses
thanks to
et
the
de leurs
courageous engagement
collaboratrices.
of religious women and their
Enracinés dans leurs
collaborators,
témoignages de prière, nous
to read
considérons
in
les laïcs,
their
le clergé et les
presence
jeunes
and
comme la clé de la
witnessing
viabilité à long
the
terme
young
de notre
people,
travail pour mettre fin à la traite des personnes.
their
Ce que
long
vous
life
exprimez et
work
vivez
that
ici
takes
est au
human
cœur
trafficking.
de
What
ce
you
que je
express here
perçois
and
du
what
chemin de
you live
conversion
is at
que
the
nous fait vivre
heart of the
la
path of
synodalité, en
conversion that we are
particulier pour nous
experiencing
religieuses,
in
dont
synodality,
on sait
particularly
toujours
for us who are
davantage
religious, to
combien nous ne
realize
pouvons pas
much
seulement
more
travailler
that
entre nous,
we
et que nous avons à vivre ces
cannot
relations de
only work
réciprocité, de
between and with
collaboration
each
avec
other,
tous
but
les
we
autres.
are invited
Peut-être que
to
le point le
collaborate
plus
and open
important que nous
up
apprenons
to
à travers
others.
tout ce
Maybe the
processus
most important
synodal,
thing that we
c'est
learn in this
l'importance
synodal
des autres,
process is the
de ceux qui ne sont
importance
pas
of the
comme nous.
others, those who are
Et
not
donc,
like us.
renforcer ce
So to
travail en
reinforce
réseau, en impliquant
this
toute la diversité
networking,
que vous nommez,
and
me semble
by
absolument
implying and
capital
engaging all the
dans ce
diversities that you
chemin de
mentioned, it
transformation
seems to be very
synodale que nous
crucial in
vivons,
this path
en
and synodal
particulier ce que vous
process that
soulignez
we
de
are
cet enjeu
living, and
de marcher avec les
particularly
laïcs
when you
et
say
notamment les jeunes.
walking and working with
Et je
lay people,
conclus
specifically young
en
ones. And I conclude
voulant rendre grâce
by
avec vous
giving
pour tout ce
grace
qui se
with
vit
you to everything
dans
that
ce
is being
réseau dans
experienced and
lequel vous
lived in this
portez
network,
et
and
mettez
in
aussi en
which
avant
you
la
live
dimension
and you hold
spirituelle,
and you bring
c'est-à-dire
forward the
aussi
spiritual
dans ce combat
dimension
contre la traite
that is
des
in
personnes,
this
l'importance de
fight
la
against
prière,
human trafficking, the importance of
d'une action
the
enracinée
importance
dans
of
l'écoute
the
de la
action
parole
that
de
is
Dieu.
rooted in the listening
Et
of the
cet
word of
élan
God.
spirituel qui s'accumule dans
And
l'action sur le
this
terrain,
that
c'est
is
aussi le
also
cadeau que vous
reflected in the
offrez à tous
work on the
ceux
fields.
qui
This
portent
is
cette
also the
mission avec
gift
vous,
that you
que ce
offer and
soit
give
des laïcs, des jeunes,
to all the
ou
people who
d'autres
bring this
personnes.
mission forward with
Alors, ma
you,
prière
lay
pour vous
people,
tous
sisters,
est
collaborators,
unis
young
ce
people.
soir,
So my prayer
c'est
is
d'être
with
des
you,
prophètes
all
d'espérance
united
dans un monde
tonight, is
qui
to
en a
be
tellement besoin.
prophets of hope in a world that is much in
In
need of
fine,
it.
comme nous l'avons dit, le
And
but du
as I say
synode,
in
ce n'est pas
Italian,
d'écrire
in
des
the
documents.
end,
Votre
the
assemblée
goal
a
of the
produit
synod
des
is
beaux
not to
documents,
produce
des belles
documents. Of
déclarations,
course, your assembly
mais
produced a
au-delà
beautiful
des
document,
documents, c'est une
but beyond
expérience.
that, it's about the
Ce temps
experience.
fort et ce qui va être
So
mis
my
en
hope is
lumière
that this
par la
strong time
reconnaissance
and
d'un
what you
engagement concret
highlighted
des
by
personnes qui
through
vont être
also
récompensées ce soir
complete engagement of people who are going
continue
to
à nous
be
inspirer et à nous
celebrated
donner de
tonight. May
l'élan
all of
pour
this
être des
continue to
pèlerins
inspire us and to
d'espérance
push us
qui
and to give us
luttent contre
the
toutes les
zeal to
formes
be
d'esclavage.
with hope and to try to
Parce que Dieu n'a pas
eradicate all
d'autres mains
forms
que les
of
nôtres, n'a pas d'autre
trafficking and
cœur que
modern
le nôtre,
slavery in the
n'a pas
world,
d'autres
because
pieds que
God
les nôtres
has
pour
our hands and
annoncer
legs and
la vie
hearts
plus
and
forte que
mind
la mort
to
dans ce
say
monde.
that
Merci.
life is stronger than death in this world. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Sister
Natalie.
Natalie. We are honored
By your
presence
with
with
us
us here this evening, and thank you for
that
insightful keynote address.
Sister
Sister Natalie is working
tirelessly
tirelessly on the synodal path,
and we
and we thank you also
for your
dedication to a synodal church.
Time for
Time for the
awards.
awards.
Let me
Let
give
me
you
give
a
you a
little
little
bit of background on how our winners tonight were chosen. In January of this year, Arise, UISG, and Hilton put out a call for nominees, and they received 120 highly qualified nominations. So it was up to the selection committee to whittle those down to our winners this evening. The selection committee was made up of 5 women from the anti-trafficking and anti-slavering space. 2 of them are here with us this evening. So Sister Jane and Francesco Donna, would you please stand up so we can thank you for being part of the selection committee. Sister Jane, walk with you. Francesca Donna is over here. And I'd also like to mention the other 3 women who were on the selection committee. They're not here with us, but we thank them equally. Sister Jyoti Pinto, Joanne Deals, Sister Theodosia Baki. Thank you for your time and your expertise in selecting our winners. The prizes are here next to me. You will see there is a beautiful statue of prism with the SATA name, the name of the laureate, and the name of the award on it. They will also receive a beautiful scarf. These scarves are made from an organization called New Hope, which is an ethnic tailoring workshop where young migrant women can choose to pick up the thread of their lives frayed by the experience of trafficking. The beautiful scarf which they have made. And of course, they will also be receiving $20,000 to put to the anti-trafficking work or institution of their choice. So we thank our hosts for that wonderful award. Our first award this evening is called the Common Good Award. Despite adverse conditions, sometimes scarce resources, sisters' resourcefulness and dedication are leading to effective and sustainable work against trafficking the world over. This laureate has demonstrated creativity and courage in her anti-trafficking interventions, working with marginalized communities despite constant challenges. To present the Common Good Award on behalf of Arise, please welcome John Studinsky, CBE, founding President of Arise.
In terms of the number of elections, the number of dictators, the number of authoritarian governments, and the 3 people we're honoring this evening are, in my mind, very strong symbols of hope. And we've heard extraordinary testimonies, and we know the power of this room, and we know the power of Talitha Kum. And we're going to celebrate that power this evening. Now I'm going to announce the winner of the Common Good Award. It's about creativity and innovation in dealing with exploitation. I'd like you to hold your applause until after the winner comes up here and I say a few words about her. Then we're going to have a brief video about her extraordinary work. The Common Good Award is presented to Sister Grace Luisa Rodriguez. Now, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. This very sort of understated, calm, relatively sort of demure character is nothing to do with the fact that this extraordinary sister in her work has shown courage. She's stared down criminals. She's been brave. She's been decisive. She's been bold. And today, when I was at our beautiful Mass this morning at the chair of St. Peter, listening to Cardinal Czerny's sermon, I looked up and saw the Holy Spirit. And if you remember in the scriptures how the Holy Spirit inspired the apostles to pause, and the Holy Spirit would tell you what to say, I'm absolutely convinced that the extraordinary work of Talitha Kum, it's the Holy Spirit inspiring and giving the sisters strength in the work they do, which is transformational in this world. So congratulations, Sister Rodriguez. I'm so pleased to present this award to you. And now we're going to hear a brief video, but please come up and join us on the stage.
I'm Sister J.P. Rodriguez, and this is my story. Goa is a beautiful place.
Let's put the scarf on first.
The nature, the beauty, the different cultures of people. In Goa, many children are kidnapped, put in the profession of beggary, child labor. These sisters are involved in empowering the children. Education plays an important role in the lives of our children. Good morning, students. By educating them, we help them to be safe from illicit trafficking of children. This is all people who are migrated from different parts of India. The living conditions in slums are very bad. The people are very, very poor. The water, the sanitation is also bad. So we work for their empowerment. We also train the women so that they earn at small scale their own livelihood. The women now have confidence to take this forward to sustain their lives. I have been in Goa for 5 years, and I see the situation, drug abuse, murder, rape, and Goa being the destination state for sex trafficking is becoming worse and worse day by day. But there is a hope. I see a light that gives life to the humanity. Through our network, collaboration with the police and our supportive systems, the beacon of hope can be brought in the lives of the victims of human trafficking. That whatever the cases has come, we did got justice for the victims of human trafficking. I cannot do it alone. I'm just a drop in the ocean. So I need others' support, others' collaboration, and my first and immediate supporters are my sisters. And above all, it is God to bring hope, love, and mercy to the people. Here in my convent, we share our work, our mission. We participate in each other's joys and sorrows. So it is very important for all the religions, for all of us, that we collaborate in every field, in every ministry which we are involved with. So together as a community, we are working together and we respond to the call which God has given us.
Respected members of EYSG, Hilton Conrad Foundation, Arise Foundation, and all my friends gathered here. I stand before you today, deeply humbled and grateful to my God for the wonders He works in our lives. Friends, I am unworthy of such recognition bestowed upon me. Yes, this acknowledgement is not just a personal achievement. It's a testament to the collective efforts of key stakeholders such as organizations, individuals, my own Kenoshan family, church institutions, government and non-government organizations, police officials, and importantly, Amrit Dalita Kum, India, with whom I collaborate in this mission. This battle, this cause is not just a mission. It's a moral imperative, a call to action that resonates with the very essence of humanity. What drives me? What fuels my commitment and passion to this cause is the unwavering belief in the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. Human trafficking strips individuals of their most basic rights, their freedom, and their dignity. Yes, it's our own dear Kenoshan sister Saint Josephine Bakita, our universal sister, who has been the key source of inspiration to me. My Kenoshan charism impels me to follow Christ crucified in his suffering victims of frontline ministries. On 2000 August 2010, I was challenged by Sister Jyoti Pinto, who started Amrit Dalita Kum in India. She said, "Grace, you have Saint Josephine Bakita from your very own congregation, and it's your own turn now to join this forum. And there onwards, my dear friends, my journey begins to work for the victims of human trafficking, be it in preventive approach, rescue operation, rehabilitation, accompanying the victims to the doctor, counseling, home inquiry report, accompanying them to the courts for hearing, compensation schemes, advocacy, legal investigation, or legal investigations. I heard the cry of Maya, a minor child of 16 years, during my first rescue operation in the red light area of Kamatipura, Mumbai. She said to me, Didi, if you had come few hours early, I would have been saved from this horror, abuse and exploitation. Last night, I was abused by 12 customers in this brothel. Imagine, my dear friends, a 16 years old child who was abused by 12 customers per night. Friends, my recent rescue operation has been last month. Along with the police officials, we rescued 9 minor girls from the fishery industry. Much horror, exploitation, abuse and destruction of life. But in the face of such darkness, we found hope. Because true to the Holy Father's exhortation, each of us is called to be a pilgrim, journey with the others, especially those on the periphery. We find hope when survivors, through their resilience, summon up courage despite the horrors they endure. We find hope in the power of collective action and collective voice, in the knowledge that when we stand together, we can effect real and lasting change. Finally, let me say, human trafficking is a network crime, and to fight against it, It is
is
not an
not
easy
an easy
task.
task.
It is a
It is a
long
long
and
and
arduous
arduous
journey,
journey
fraught
fraught
with
with
setbacks,
setbacks,
challenges,
challenges,
and
and
risk.
risks.
But with
But with
God's
God's
grace,
grace,
it is
it
a
is a
journey
journey
worth
worth
taking,
taking,
a
a
cause
cause
worth
worth
fighting
fighting
for.
for. Through compassion in action, I want to fight this battle. I want to take one step at a time, one victory at a time, thus enhancing their lives for a better living. And yes, my compassionate loving will bring about transformation in the society, of course, with God's grace. Yes, together we can build a future where every individual can live with dignity, freedom, and hope. I take this special opportunity to thank our Holy Father, Pope Francis, the church institutions, Arise Foundation, UISG, Conrad Hilton Foundation, Mr. Andrew Sarianos and Satish from Picture Perfect Foundation, who have designed this beautiful video, all my collaborators and my Conversion congregation, my Mother General, Sister Sandra Maggiolo, and her team, who is present here, my Provincial, Sister Audrey D'Souza, and her council, who have always accompanied me in this mission. And here too, she's present, gracing this occasion. Thank you, one and all. God bless.
Our next award is the Servant Leadership Award for Excellence in Network Building. To present the Servant Leadership Award on behalf of UISG, I welcome once again to the stage President of UISG, Sister Mary Barron.
Today, as we honor those who exemplify courage, creativity, and unwavering commitment to protecting vulnerable persons and communities from exploitation, it is my great privilege to introduce the Servant Leadership Award, in which we honor an exceptional sister who has made a profound impact, who possesses a unique ability to lead through service. Our Servant Leadership Award winner has not only built networks, also fostered collaboration across cultures and religions. She has helped weave a tapestry of hope, connecting hearts and hands in the fight against trafficking. Servant leaders share the vision, communicate the mission, the purpose, and the values. Servant leaders facilitate engagement. They encourage collaboration and create effective and lasting partnerships. Servant leaderships champion resources, helping everyone to have the tools and the support needed for success. It takes courage and commitment to lead with service at the forefront. And it takes courage and abundance to be a servant leader in a struggle to eradicate human trafficking. It is my great pleasure to announce the winner of tonight's Servant Leadership Award. And our Servant Leadership winner tonight is Sister Anne Victory from the Sisters of the Humility of Mary. Before we present the award, let's take a moment to enjoy the video that has been made to honor Sister Anne. Thank you. Welcome to. Thank you.
I'm Sister Anne Victory, a sister of the Humility of Mary, and this is my story. My full-time ministry at the moment is serving on the leadership team for the Sisters of the Humility of Mary. And I also volunteer for the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking as a speaker. Trafficking, we know, is an epidemic worldwide, and it's our responsibility as fellow human beings to address it. Those who are being trafficked, they are not respected. They are not even thought of as persons. It's our obligation to address their needs. We've served in a variety of ministries over the years, primarily women and children services in healthcare and social services, and a lot of justice work. We became connected with Talitha Kum in 2013. And because of that connection, we have now a way to be connected internationally with people who are doing this kind of work. The Alliance to End Human Trafficking has regularly gone to our annual meeting, and part of that visit is always going to Capitol Hill and speaking to our senators and representatives. And they need to be the ones to help strengthen the laws that are in place and enforce the laws that are in place. My primary way to address my own well-being in the face of human trafficking is to turn to prayer, which I do regularly. I never want to become not passionate about it or not caring about it. I'm glad that I feel the issue every time I encounter it. I don't do any of this alone. Many of my sisters are involved in the work in some way. We had to do it together because we kept learning how big it was and how impossible it was to do it just by ourselves. I hope that we will all continue to work together to end the terrible crime of human trafficking for the sake of God's people.
Okay. You need to pick a spot. Okay. And here's the spot, sister.
So now we will. Your laureate, Sister Anne Victory.
Well, good evening, and thank you to all of you. I can't tell you how shocked I was to be told I'm receiving this award. There are so many in our global sisterhood who, in my eyes, are much more deserving of an award like this. I'm certainly grateful to God, of course, for the energy and the inspiration to do this kind of work, for the support of my congregation, the Sisters of the Humility of Mary, and the support that they have given, the encouragement they have given, and the financial support as well along the way to be able to do this. Each day I've been involved in the work, I've been challenged, I've been inspired, and I continue to find energy to do more. When we were founded in Cleveland, Ohio, the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking was really a group of women religious and our friends in the area who heard the term, and we were shocked. We had no idea what it was. So it took us time to learn, and we decided there was no way to do it alone. We better find a way to do it together. So that's what we were about. We determined that our main goals would be to raise awareness, first of all, because if you don't know, you can't do anything. So education and awareness, and then advocacy, of course, changing the law, getting stronger laws, advocating for those who are victims of this crime, and then connecting services on behalf of trafficked persons. We didn't see ourselves necessarily as the 70 plus years of age around the table, we were able to do this by ourselves. We knew, though, because of our connections, that there were people that we work with every day who are touching the lives of persons who are trafficked, and they don't know it. So the education was not only in schools, certainly there, but it was also in the healthcare services. It was the police force. It was the judges. It was the hotels. It was so many. I am very pleased to say that the collaborative in Cleveland, which I volunteer for now instead of an employed by them, has over 75 local organizations with whom they are working. We learned collaboration, audaciously naming ourselves the collaborative, because we had to learn. We had to figure out what that really means. And what it means to us was coming together for a common mission. Even though we might disagree or not work together on some things, this is the common mission. We will bring our best gifts to address the issue together, because that's the only way to do it. Then because of that involvement, I was invited in 2013 to come to Washington, D.C. to meet with sisters doing the work across our country. And there was a gathering of us, and we didn't necessarily know each other, but we were invited by a visionary named Sister Margaret Nackey, whom some of you may know because she's been involved internationally, and Sister Ann Schultz, who at that point was working with LCWR as their justice person. They invited us, and we were inspired by one another to figure out what we could do together across our vast country to bring people together around this mission and share resources across the boundaries. And we found that to continue to provide services in a manner that was definitely trauma informed, and paying attention to how we might weave that safety net together for the sake of those who are so vulnerable to such great suffering. I am amazed and grateful for all those who generously focus on the mission of ending human trafficking, those who bring their best to the effort, so that together we can truly make a difference in the work of eradicating this crime from the face of the earth. Most of all, I would say I am in awe of the strength and the resilience of those who have suffered such trauma in the face of this horrendous crime. Those victims whom I have met have been my teachers, and they continue to inspire me and encourage me. In this season of Pentecost, I pray that we all may be enlivened with a new energy to continue this essential work for the sake of all God's people, proclaiming the dignity of each one that we encounter each day. May we take heart from those who have gone before us, those who have persisted, and those who continue to combine efforts to renew the face of the earth. Thank you to all who have sponsored this event, to all my colleagues engaged in this work in my own country, in my own city of Cleveland, Ohio, and across the world. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Our final award this evening is the Human Dignity Award. Human dignity is for a lifetime achievement in addressing exploitation. The effectiveness of Sisters' anti-trafficking work is often due to their familiarity with local customs and vulnerabilities and the trust they have from local communities. This award goes to a sister who has been committed to the fight against human trafficking for at least 15 years and whose work has proven highly impactful and sustainable. This laureate has been working diligently for over 3 decades in a volatile global region. To present the Human Dignity Award on behalf of the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation, I invite Hilton Associate Vice President of Program Operations and Head of Catholic Sisters, Sister Jane Wakahue.
Thank you, Dahlia. So we are gathered here today because all believe and that we have a common responsibility towards ending human trafficking in our communities and in our society. And we are gathered again here today to honor women who have done incredible work, women who can teach us how to do it. It is my honor to present the Human Dignity Award to a Catholic sister who has demonstrated compassion, tenderness, and commitment in elevating human dignity of one life at a time. A woman who can have contributed significantly in building the first shelter in Syria to house survivors of trafficking, creating the first hotline so that those who are victims can be able to be rescued, building schools so that those in prison can have education and can be supported. She is a sister who serves in a region that experiences conflict, and in times of conflict, children, youth, and families are vulnerable and at risk of trafficking. I can describe this sister as her incredible work of activism, advocacy, awareness raising, survivor support, and education as a true prophet in a region where she stands in her faith to give hope to survivors. A woman who demonstrates resilience, commitment, hard work, and gives hope amidst challenges. Sister, your embodiment of compassion, fraternal love, and prophetic witness in restoring dignity for survivors is worth to mention. Thank you. You are a woman who heals the brokenhearted, binds their wounds, and gives them new life when they cannot see hope. I am honored to present the Lifetime Award of Human Dignity to Sister Mary George.
Here's sister. Give her the award and then we'll watch the video. First the award.
أنا الأخت ماري كلود نداف من رهبة الراعي الصالح، وهي قصة لبنان في يد الحضارات والجمال الطبيعي، ولكن بسبب الحروب والمشاكل الاجتماعية أصبحنا نعاني من مشكلات كبيرة ومنها آفة الإتجار بالبشر، ولكن لسوء الحظ تعتبر آفة محرم الحكي عنها وتعتبر تبع. الإبصار بالبصر هو أكبر آفة عالمية، يعني اجتاحت العالم، وأكثر شيء اللي هن بيتأثروا من الموضوع هن المهمشين والفئة الفقيرة الضعيفة، وبكل أنحاء العالم، وبطال النساء والأطفال. حقيقة مهمة تلتكم انترناسيونال هو مسيرة معا من أجل تحرير الإنسان من عبودية الإتجار بالبشر. Voice of Hope ينابيع الأمل هي تسحب أمان لحتى يشيل العوائق من درب الضحايا حتى يوصلوا لكرامتهم. Voice of Hope ينابيع الأمل إحنا اختبرنا ساعدنا ما يقارب 40 حالة على مدى 4 سنوات. مهمتنا بلبنان بسوريا بالأردن وبمصر ما بتقتصر على جلسات التوعية، ولكن نحب نطالب الإنسان ككل، الشفاء الجسدي النفسي الاجتماعي، وبنقوم بدورات تدريب تمكين للنساء حتى يعيشوا بكرامة. عشت لحظات فرح وسلام وانتصار. كل مرة كنت أحصل على موافقات لتحرير إحدى الفتيات. حبي المشرف لرسالتي كراهبة الراعي الصالح يجعل قلبي ما بيرتاح إلا عند اللقاء بهالخروف الضال المجروح، وهالخروف هو حقيقة كل فتاة وكل امرأة هو ضحية إتجار، ضحية هالعبودية. أنا بقول الرب هو ينير طريقي، الرب هو مصباحي، وإذا حياتي ممكن تكون شمعة صغيرة على درب أي إنسان، هيدا بيملأ قلبي فرح وبمجد الرب. شكر للرب. Merci beaucoup. Sincèrement, je vous le dis, tout a été mystérieux dans mon histoire,
In
dans
my
le
story,
film,
in the
dans ce
video that
film,
you just saw,
dans tout ce que
in
j'ai pu vivre ces
everything
derniers temps,
I
tout
experienced
était mystérieux.
these
Bon, je ne savais
last
pas ce
times.
qui va se passer.
I didn't know what
Et
was going to
actuellement,
happen.
en voyant ces
And
dames
now,
avec
while
des
seeing
discours
the ladies, the
extraordinaires,
sisters
je
before me with
disais, mais
extraordinary
toi, Marie-Claude, qu'est-ce
words,
que tu fais?
I asked
Pourquoi tu es
myself,
là?
what
Qu'est-ce
am
que
I
tu as fait
going to
pour être
do?
là?
I said, Marie-Claude, what did you do to be
Et
here among
puis,
them? And
tout d'un coup,
suddenly,
les paroles
the words,
d'un père de
the
l'Église
words of one father
qui
of the
disait,
church who said,
les paroles de la bouche
what is
n'éteignent
said, the words
que
from the
l'oreille,
mouth
l'ouïe,
can only reach the
mais
ears,
les paroles du
but the
cœur
words coming from the
vont
heart
au cœur.
go straight to the
Donc,
heart.
je vous prie
So
de
I
recevoir
ask
dans
you
votre
and I
cœur
pray
tout
that
ce
you can receive in
qui
your
a rempli
hearts
ma vie.
everything that filled
C'est
my
Dieu
life.
qui a été le dynamisme
God
de
was
ma vie et qui
the
m'a
engine of my heart,
guidée,
and He was the one
qui
to
m'a
lead me
toujours
all the time,
poussée.
the one
Et
to
puis,
push me.
peut-être un
And
secret,
maybe a
la
secret,
congrégation m'a donné
the
une année
congregation
de
gave me a
sabbatique.
sabbatical year.
Et durant cette
And
année,
during
je
this
devais relire
sabbatical
ma
year,
vie.
I was invited to
Et
read my
puis,
life.
à la fin,
And at the end of
mon
that year,
accompagnatrice,
the
elle
woman
me dit,
accompanying
tu veux
me
lire
said to me, would you like to
tes notes?
read your
Je dis
notes?
oui.
And I said,
Elle me dit,
yes.
est-ce que tu
And
vas
she
trouver
said,
ton nom
are you going to find
à
your
travers ce
name
que tu as?
through what you wrote?
J'ai pris et en effet,
So I took the
mon
notes,
nom était
and indeed,
éveilleuse de vie.
and my
Éveiller
name was
la
awakener,
vie.
awakener.
Faire
So I was
éveillir
awaking. I
la
was
vie de profondeur.
really
Me faire
trying
jaillir
to flow with
l'eau
life,
de
just like
source. Ça vous
water from a
demande
source.
beaucoup
And this requires
à défricher une terre,
a
à
lot of
enlever
work.
les cailloux qui sont
You need, in
devant
order to flow the
pour
water, you
faire
need to
jaillir la
dig
vie.
deep
Et c'est
to
ça
try to look for the source
l'histoire.
of water, to put
C'est
pebbles
ça
aside.
mon
And this is my
contact.
story.
C'est ça
And this is
mon
my fight.
approche
And this is my
avec
approach
toutes les
with
personnes
all
que j'ai
the
rencontrées
people
tout au
I
long
meet
de ma vie.
and all the people I
En
met
tant que
through
sœur
the
du bon
course of my
pasteur,
life. As a religious of the Good
allez,
Shepherd,
allez à la recherche. Ne laissez pas
go towards
l'autre venir à vous,
the
mais
other.
allez à
Go
la
seek,
recherche de
go
celui
search for the
qui n'est
other,
pas
those
dans le bercail. Tu vas
are
aller le
not
chercher ailleurs. Tu vas
there,
te salir.
who are not
Tu
visible.
vas
You
passer par
really need
les ronces.
to go
Et
through
c'est
hard
là
roads
que tu vas aller le
in the
chercher.
midst of the soil.
Et ce
It's
charisme
there that
de
you
ma
need to
congrégation,
find people. And
et
this
je
is
veux
the
dire
charism of my congregation.
aussi
And I'd
que j'ai appris dans ma
also
famille,
would like to say that in
aller
my
vers
family,
l'autre
I learned
pour
to
faire jaillir la
go
vie
towards the other,
dans
to
les autres.
bring
Et
life in
puis,
the others.
il ne s'agit pas
It is
simplement
not about
de trouver la
finding
brebis. La
the
brebis
lost
est
sheep.
entre les ronces. À ce moment-là, il faut que tu te baisses.
We need
Il faut que tu
to
sois au même niveau, que tu puisses
find
frayer,
it
lui
between the
enlever
thorns.
tout ce qui lui fait
We
mal.
need to take the thorns that hurt this
Ensuite,
sheep,
tu peux
and then
la prendre. Elle se
afterwards we
laisse
can
prendre.
hold it in our hands.
Et
And
ensuite,
it's at that
tu la
moment
mets
that
là
we can really
et
hold
tu
it
marches.
tenderly, keep it
Mais
in
ce
our
qui est
hands,
merveilleux,
and move forward.
et ce que le pape
What is
François nous a dit,
really wonderful is what the Pope said to us.
vous ne pouvez pas être
He said, you cannot
ni
be
devant,
neither in
ni
front nor
derrière.
behind.
Vous devez être
You
au milieu
need to be in the midst
de votre troupeau.
of
C'est vrai, vous avez une
your
mission de guider. Vous avez une mission
herd.
de
It's
dire
true.
et,
You have a
et
mission
d'annoncer.
to lead, to
Mais
announce, to be.
si vous ne
But
sentez pas
if you don't
l'odeur de
feel
vos brebis, vous ne
the
pourrez pas
scent, the
comprendre
smell
la
of your
souffrance
own
qu'elles ont
herd,
vécue.
you couldn't
Et
understand the
ensuite,
sufferings.
tu dois être
And
aussi
then
en
you
arrière
need to be a bit
parce qu'il y a
behind,
la brebis qui boite.
because there's
Il y a la brebis qui
definitely
n'arrive
the
pas
sheep
à se lancer.
that
Alors toi, tu vas
limpses,
l'aider
that
à
cannot
rejoindre
walk,
le
that
troupeau.
has a
Et
problem,
c'est
and then
ça
you need to help
la
them,
mission
push them,
de
follow
Jésus
the
le
herd.
bon
And
pasteur.
this is the
Et
mission
c'est
that the
là
Lord
la mission. C'est l'histoire
entrusted
du
to
bon
me.
pasteur. Mais
And as a
aussi,
religious of the
nous,
Good
en tant
Shepherd,
que
but
Talita
we, as
Kum,
Talita
Words
Kum,
of Hope,
Words
et
of
de
Hope
Francis, quand nous
in the
travaillons
Middle
dans des
East, where we work
situations,
in
dans des cultures
situations
très différentes,
among
religions
amidst
très
different
différentes, moi,
cultures,
il y a
different regions.
des équipes de 4 pays qui sont
We
ici. Moi,
have
je voudrais
the
aussi
team of Wells
remercier
of
Sœur
Hope from
Cécile
4
de la
countries. I'd
Jordanie,
like to thank
Sœur Jeannette
Sister
de
Cecile from
l'Égypte et nos
Jordan,
collègues de la Syrie,
Jordanie,
deux
from
dames,
Syria, two
une
ladies,
avocate
a
et
young
doctorat
lawyer
Thérèse,
and Dr.
qui sont
Therese,
les, je ne peux pas vous
another
dire quoi,
sister.
elles sont les animateurs, les
They
créateurs,
are
la
the
réalisation du
creators,
rêve.
the animators,
Alors moi, je vais les
and those who
remercier
realize this dream. So
sincèrement
I would
du
like to
travail parce que moi,
thank
je ne peux
them
rien faire toute seule.
sincerely because I
Moi, je
can't
ne
do
peux rien
anything
faire
by
toute seule.
myself.
croyez-moi,
believe me,
pour travailler, pour
to
aider.
work.
Et nous venons, grâce à Dieu, de fêter
And
depuis 3 jours
thank God,
le
we
retour
just
de l'une
celebrated
de nos victimes après avoir
one of
passé
our
15 ans
victims
dans la servitude
after
et dans
being a slave
l'angoisse
for 15
et dans
years,
la
after
violence.
living in anxiety
Depuis
and a
3 jours,
violent situation.
cette
3
personne
days ago,
est
this
rentrée
victim
dans son
was
pays.
able to
Et
go back
cela,
home,
c'est
and this
grâce
is
aux
thanks
collègues,
to
aux
my
sœurs,
colleagues,
aux
the
dames qui
sisters,
travaillent
the
avec nous
ladies who
et qui
work
ont
with us
travaillé
and
des
keep on
heures et
working
des heures,
hours and
qui ont
hours.
qui est
And that
important
is
pour
what
nous
is important
en
to
Orient,
us in the
c'est
Middle East
qu'il faut savoir
is
parler à une
to
culture de différentes
know
confessions
how to address a
religieuses avant
culture
et d'autres religions.
constituted of
Et
several
avec
religious
c'est
confessions and to be accepted. We need to
créer
create
beaucoup de
a
liens,
lot and a lot of
beaucoup
bonds,
d'approches,
many
beaucoup d'amitiés,
approaches, many
beaucoup de,
friendships.
comment je veux dire,
How to say that?
de
Many
rencontres,
meetings,
aider les gens
to
à se
help
rencontrer,
people to
aider les
meet,
gens à faire
help them
revenir ce qui est
to
le plus beau,
refine,
que ce
to
soit dans toutes les
resurface
religions. C'est
what is the
pourquoi
most beautiful.
nous n'avons
And that
pas
is
peur
why we
dans nos
do not
pays,
fear.
parce
And
que
we
nous
are not
savons qu'il
scared
y a
in our
beaucoup
countries
d'hommes
because we
et
know
de
that
femmes de bonne
there are a lot
volonté
of
qui
women
travaillent
and
avec
men
nous.
of
Je vous
goodwill who
remercie
work with us.
et
Thank you
sincèrement, je
very
me
much.
suis...
And
je ne peux pas vous
sincerely,
dire, je suis très surprise,
I'm very
mais je rends
surprised,
grâce
but I
au
thank the
Seigneur
Lord.
parce que
I thank the Lord because
c'est lui qui inspire,
He
c'est
inspires,
lui qui
He
aide,
leads,
c'est lui qui
He
travaille.
works.
Dans notre session,
In our
nous avons beaucoup
session, we
travaillé
worked a
sur
lot
la
on the
transformation par la
transformation
compassion,
through compassion,
passer de la compassion
to
à l'action.
move from
Mais
compassion to
vous savez,
action.
le mot en
And you
arabe,
know the
qu'est-ce que ça
word
veut dire?
in
Compassion,
Arabic, what it means in Arabic?
c'est-à-dire travailler de
Compassion in
les
Arabic
entrailles.
is working from the womb.
Et c'est dans les
The etymology of the
entrailles
word is
qu'on peut
coming
engendrer une
out
vie.
of the womb, and it's there
Et si
that life
nos
takes
collègues
place. This is
dans notre
life is
pays ne
conceived,
travaillent pas
and our
là,
colleagues in these countries
nous ne pouvons pas donner la
work
vie
at that
et
level.
les autres
And
ne nous accepteraient pas.
if we don't
Je
do
vous
that, the
remercie
others
beaucoup
wouldn't accept us.
et
Thank you very much.
je suis très contente. Merci, merci. Merci.
Well, I think that's a wonderful, inspirational note to end on. Thank you, Sister Marie Claude. Congratulations again to all three of our laureates, Sister Gracie Rodriguez, Sister Anne Victory, and Sister Marie Claude Nadaf, and indeed to the superiors who have accompanied them this evening. Your witness and your achievements are an inspiration to us. And of course, you stand here tonight as representatives, as you have all said, of a much larger network.
And that collective effort is what we are celebrating tonight. I think we owe a round of applause also to our wonderful hosts, the Rise Foundation, the UISG, and the Conrad and Hilton Foundation. Thank you for your generosity in offering these awards. May I also say our deepest thanks to our panelists, Mary Mugo, Nazrin Sheik, Kevin Hyland. Thank you for your important contributions tonight. And thanks to all of you for coming here to be with us and to celebrate this important event. As we say here in Italy, grazie e buona serata. Thank you and good evening. Sister Grace.
Recording stopped.